Счастливая планета.
Нина Каевец подключилась, видит ли, слышит ли. Nina, hello! Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Nice to see you, nice to greet you in the marathon.
Yes, thank you for inviting me. Very exciting that you have so many hours on Peace.
Now we invite our translator. Just a minute, please.
Hello, my name is Sabina. So, could you please describe your own program? Irina just told that you are a peace educational trainer. She just gave a small briefing regarding your actions and regarding your training and program. Could you please tell about your program for our listeners? Because it's really very interesting program. I saw it myself. So we are listening.
Yes, thank you. So this is the book that I've written together with another trainer. It's called Engaging Nonviolence, Creating Nonviolent Change in Our Lives and Our World. And it describes different workshop sessions. So until now, I have been giving 5 trainings in the Netherlands, where I'm from. 1 in England, 1 in Germany, and 1 in Greece. So 8 in total. They all last about 1 week. And usually they have around 24 participants. So I think that in total, more than 160 people have participated in the training.
Yes, thank you. Is it true that your program was co-financed by European? Sorry. Yes, by European Union. Yes.
Yes, that's true. Of course, I also do workshops for independent groups or organizations. But those trainings that I just told you about, they were all co-financed by the European Union.
Please describe in details how long time it takes usually, and how many people involved in these trainings usually.
Yes, so it's about 8 days and usually around 24 people.
Okay, thank you. Please describe content of your program. What is the main things in your program? Is it resolving of conflicts or other actions? What people can learn from your training?
It's both of those things. So you have 3 different parts in the book. And the book is set up in such a way that both participants of a training course can follow it, as well as people who want to become a trainer like me. So there are specific instructions for each exercise that you have in the training course. Oh. And maybe you can first translate, and then I will tell a bit more about the content.
Okay, thank you. True that you can organize environment like a violent environment where each person in your training have to search or find decision to solve this program, to solve this conflict or problem without violence, non-violence actions.
Yes, it is also one of the things that we practice, of course. As I said, nonviolent conflict resolution is an important part of the book. So, for example, there's an exercise where we role play that someone is being harassed, and then we give 5 different intervention techniques. So 5 different things that you can do, and people can then improvise.
How do you think, is it, after your training, people really can solve all conflicts in real life? Is it useful for people after your training to use all methods and theory part in usual life?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, most participants really report that they are really becoming much better at solving conflicts, and they become more aware of their own reactions and actions and how they can respond to others. Mm-hmm. And because the training course has both theory and practice, people really develop skills that they can use.
Mm-hmm. One of your part, first, as I remember, first part of your book was non-violence in practice. Can you please describe how we can use it in real life? Is it really possible to do it?
Yes, and I do think that also a part that you start with is, of course, believing, but then it's also just seeing, and then you know that it's really possible. So in this part of nonviolent practice, we have how to deal with emotions, how to improve your communication, how can we become more aware of inequality and show solidarity with others that maybe have less privilege than we ourselves have. And it also gives different examples of people that practice nonviolence. So there is one story I will tell you from a famous Russian poet, actually. I hope I pronounce it well, Yevgeny Yevtushenko.
Evgeny Yevtushenko. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Adna, can you please give us some examples of this non-violence in practice?
Yes, so I will first give you the example from the Russian one. This is just a small story of a Russian lady who gave a piece of bread to very tired German war prisoners. And I think it was during the Second World War. So when she did that, it just completely changed the whole atmosphere. And then many different women came to the German prisoners and they reached out with bread, with different things that they had. And this story shows us that one important principle of nonviolence, for example, is that we don't have enemies. So you can be against a certain behavior, but not against a person. So in the nonviolent culture, let's say, we always recognize each other's humanity.
Is it true that by your training you are starting to learn people to become the trainers as you, and they can start to train people to be more nonviolent and more peaceful in this, to start to be the trainer like you?
Yes. Yeah, so at the moment, the book came out only 1.5 years ago. So I haven't been able yet to get a group together to really become trainers, but we are going to have a follow-up trainer with some people. And then hopefully, yes, the people, you can just follow the instructions from the book and implement the training yourself.
In third part of your book, you are trying to learn people how to plan strategy of nonviolence politics and other actions. Could you please give us some examples of these nonviolence politics and actions?
Yes. So I think this is really important as well. That's why there is a part of the book that talks about strategy. So you look at different causes of the problem that you want to address. What parties are there involved? How can you reach the people that are not your supporters, but your opponents and the ones in between? And you can think, of course, about many movements. Everyone knows that the movements of Gandhi and Martin Luther King were successful nonviolent movements. But you can also think of the Baltic states, for example, in their independence struggle, or Otpor in Serbia. You have different movements against dictatorships in Chile, in Philippines, Tunisia, more recently, and also Sudan, for example. And there are more that I could mention.
It mentioned a few countries and explains that most of movements in countries where they had or wars or any conflicts or it's during this time, such as Sudan, Libya, Syria, and others.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and dictatorships, things like that. But you can also think of environmental movements, for example, that prevented oil drilling or coal mining and such things.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for your joining, and we wish you a lot of trainings around the world. And thank you for your time.
Yes. Maybe one day in Russia.
One day, maybe. Надеяться однажды в России. Now, we have a tradition in our forum that each person who joined us have to say some parting words for our listeners about peace, about nonviolence, and other topics in our theme.
Some
You can
supporting
speak in
words.
English or in Dutch on your native language.
Oh, maybe I would say for everyone that it is possible to create a culture of peace and just get training, try to educate yourself and believe it is possible.
Nina хочет... Can you please tell us the same, but in Dutch, on your native language? As I understood, your native language is Dutch, right? I will not translate it, but it will be just for our listeners.
Okay, good. Let me think, what did I say? So I'll try to translate what I said before. Geloof dat we echt een cultuur van vrede kunnen bouwen samen. En probeer om jezelf te trainen, om meer informatie te vinden. En dan weet ik zeker dat ook jij bij kan dragen aan vrede.
Thank you, Nina. Нина только что перевела все то, что она сказала на английском, на свой родной голландский язык.
Ну что ж, спасибо большое, спасибо за это включение. Мы прощаемся с Ниной, надеемся увидеть ее еще неоднократно в наших проектах. У нас здесь сейчас снова готовится музыка. Thank you, Nina, for joining us, and we hope to see you again more and more in other new times. Thank you, and we wish you great success in your activities.
Thank you, Nina.
Yes, thank you very much. Спасибо. Good luck.
Спасибо, спасибо.
Итак,
До
у
свидания,
нас
да.
снова
Goodbye.
сейчас будет звучать